Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. We're not going to have a podcast this week. We got some things going on, but I still want to stay consistent, so I'll be hitting you guys with The Weekly a couple times this week, maybe even 3 times. Anyway, let's get right into it. First article from The Direct. Super Mario Movie 2, release, cast, and everything we know. After the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie from Illumination Entertainment, it feels like only a matter of time before a Super Mario Movie 2 is announced and head into active development. The first film, which saw MCU alum Chris Pratt lead a star-studded cast in this animated adventure, released back in April 2023 to much success, the Super Mario Brothers movie quickly became one of the biggest animated movies of all time and held the top spot as the most successful film of 2023 before Barbie snatched its crown. Interesting. Yeah, I know Super Mario, the movie. That movie was a blockbuster. $1 billion at box office, family-friendly, people loved it. They weren't inundating you with politics or propaganda. And a lot of people were really angry about it because it's an animated film about a video game. But Mario's been around for about 40, 45 years, maybe longer than that. A lot of people are fans of the Mario video games, right? And Mario, that's a game that it spans over multiple generations of people. So it appeals to people that played it when they were younger, and it also appeals to younger people because of the way it does look, since it is an animated look. But yeah, I'm surprised they haven't already put this movie into development. I guess they're trying to come up with another story for it. They have all the ingredients to come up with another successful film. Will the film do as much as it did the first time around? Maybe not, but it could. You just never know. But I think, this film did $1 billion. It's a success, obviously. I think the budget for it was under $200 million, so they easily hit their little 3X there on the metric. And then, like it says, it was top spot until Barbie came, and we know Barbie was a big hit as well. But that's funny. I don't think there's too much about the cast other than them probably bringing back Mr. Pratt, obviously, since he did the voice of Mario. But they're not in production right now. Looks like they're still trying to circle the wagons on this one. But I'll leave that article in the description for you guys if you want to read it all the way through. There's not too much out about this movie right now because, like it says, they're not into production. So I think they'll bring back most of the same players that made the first film a success. But until then, we'll keep our eyes on that. Next article from Variety. Marvel's The Fantastic Four lands its cast. We got Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, a couple other people on here, some notable faces. Let me read a little bit of this article for you guys. The superhero quartet, the first characters created for Marvel Comics by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, will be played by Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. We all love the Human Torch. And Ebon Moss as Ben Grimm as the Thing. As part of the casting announcement, Disney has swapped the release dates of the Fantastic Four, now set for July 25th, 2025, and Thunderbolts, now set for May 2nd, 2025. Those are 2 of 4 Marvel tentpoles currently set to open in 2025, along with Captain America: Brave New World. We've talked about that multiple times already, guys, in February, and Blade in November. 4 Marvel films are also scheduled for 2026, including Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. That's a ramp up from 2024. Marvel has only Deadpool and Wolverine for theaters July 26th. So we talked about a lot of the movies in that list. I don't think the casting is bad. I don't really see Pedro Pascal as playing Mr. Fantastic. I don't think he has the look for it, honestly. I think Vanessa Kirby is probably the best casting out of this whole group of people that they got as the main characters in this story. Like I said, Fantastic Four is a real tough movie to really convince audiences to go watch and see because they've had so many renditions of Fantastic Four that have just not panned out well. Now, I believe the first Fantastic Four movie that came out, it wasn't too bad. They kind of missed the mark with the second one where you had Silver Surfer in there. I think maybe Galactus may have had a little cameo in there, but that one didn't hit audiences the way they felt it should have hit. And then they tried to reboot it again. Later on down the line, that one didn't do well at all. So I think with Fantastic Four, you're getting to the point where you're beating a dead horse. If they can't get this off the ground, it's going to be very tough to try to get anybody to go watch another Fantastic Four movie ever again. I think they have a talented cast that can do what they need to do to make this a success. I don't know what the budget's going to be, but seeing as how it's Disney and Marvel, the budget is probably going to be north of $200 million. It's going to be a lot of CGI and special effects with the Fantastic Four. That just comes with the characters. You can't really have a Fantastic Four film and have it be very practical. It has to have a lot of special effects. But as we can see, Disney is trying to ramp up. They have one movie coming out this year, right? That's Deadpool and Wolverine. We spoke about that. And then it seems that leading on to next year, they're going to start throwing a couple more films out there. I think they have 3 or 4. I think it said it was listed. And in 2026, I'm sure they're looking at the metrics there, if in their data. If everything goes successful, they'll start releasing more movies in 2026 with the Kang Dynasty, and they're going to have a lot on their hands, to be honest, because like we talked about multiple times, Disney, Marvel, they're in a weird position right now, right? The CEO, Bob Iger, is going to be leaving in 2026, right? They have one movie coming out this year. Their track record is not one of success at this point. People are not really liking anything that they're putting out. So we'll see what happens with this film. Will I probably go see Fantastic Four? Maybe I'll go see Fantastic Four. But we'll see what happens with the movie. I got to see the trailer. I got to see a couple other things to convince me to go watch a Fantastic Four movie, because I have not watched a Fantastic Four movie in a very long time. So we'll see what they can come up with. Next article. Star Wars Bad Batch Season 3 reviews. Critics share strong first reactions. Interesting article. The first reactions to Season 3 of Star Wars, The Bad Batch, are in with critics claiming the Disney Plus show's final chapter is not just its best, but possibly the most pivotal. Kicking off with a 3-episode premiere on February 21st. It's coming up soon, guys. The Bad Batch's third and final season finds Clone Force 99 attempting to rescue their youngest member, Omega, from an Imperial cloning facility. I've heard a lot of cool things about Bad Batch. It seems like, if anything, and it says Disney Plus is running this, what I hear most about Star Wars now is the live action stuff isn't that good, but the things that are animated, those are actually doing really well with Star Wars fans. And I think it's because you have a whole different crop of writers and people, coming together to create, right? They're not being bound by social agendas or ESG, stuff, right? So I think, Bad Batch, if anybody's interested in that and interested in Star Wars in general, I think people will really like Bad Batch. As I've said, I've heard positive things about Bad Batch. I haven't heard any negative stuff like that. So I think if anybody's a fan of that, go check that out. And I guess it's going to be on Disney Plus, and it's the final season. So, if you haven't seen any of it, here's your chance to kind of binge out on it, get caught up, and then the final season starts up. It says February 21st, which is going to be coming up. So that's from the direct. That article is going to be in the description as well as the others. Let's move on to the next article. Polygon. X-Men 97 finally gets a trailer in a March premiere, bub. I'm singing the theme song and you are too. Isn't everybody? We love that X-Men theme song. I think I'm a mutant. My mutant gift getting hyped for X-Men 97. I know it's not the most unique skill set, but look, I'm a millennial and can only resist so much. Play the opening notes of that theme song and my brain is effectively rewired. If you're reading this, you probably know what that's like. And so the first trailer for X-Men 97 is likely going to hit you better than a good-ass cup of coffee. Interesting. I'll let you guys read the rest. Link to the article is going to be in the description. This is interesting. They're kind of going with the little throwback here. I grew up watching the X-Men animated series. Awesome series. I watched the trailer to this yesterday, actually. I thought it was interesting. The animation is a little different from the 90s version. I want to see what they do with the storyline of this. Apparently, Professor X has died, and so it's kind of a continuation of the events that happened after that. Of course, we know Wolverine's in there, Cyclops, Storm, all the main players in the 90s X-Men animated show. But, yeah, that show was awesome growing up. It was one of the best ones, We had the Batman, Superman animated show was pretty good, X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, a bunch of awesome shows, right? I think they got a lot to try to, try to keep up with. I guess what I'm trying to say is they have some big shoes to fill, right? They're trying to use that throwback 97 in there to get people hyped up. Like the author says here, millennial, right? You see that X-Men 97, you see the animation style, you see how the characters look, you know it's not really new age X-Men, right? So it's getting everybody hyped up, right? This is going to be one of those multi-generational things as well. So I like the trailer. It was decent. Like I said, the animation style is a little different. I prefer the older animation style, but you know, they got to kind of make things a little more modern. So I guess it's a look in the right direction, but I thought the trailer was cool. Excited about this. Don't know if I'm going to watch it or anything like that. I'm pretty busy, but hopefully this show does good. X-Men kind of needs it. I think this might be like the Star Wars effect where you get the animated version that comes out and people gravitate to that more than the live action, because X-Men hasn't really done well from a live action standpoint. I know the last couple films they put out, which would have been Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, didn't do well. I was actually a fan of Days of Future Past. I thought it was actually a pretty good movie, but they haven't really been able to recreate Days of Future Past or First Class for that matter. So maybe this is a chance for them to get back on track and get people interested in anything X-Men. So I think that's going to do it for today's broadcast, guys. 4 great articles. As I said, links are going to be in the description. I'll have that X-Men 97 trailer link in the description as well. As always, I thank you guys for listening to the broadcast. I'll be posting a lot more this week since we're not going to be having a podcast, like I said, unfortunately. But yeah, stay tuned. Like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications. Please share with family and friends, right? Appreciate you guys listening. That's going to do it from me, Neff, on another broadcast of The Weekly. Be safe.